Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the hosts side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
Welcome to Remote Reality. This is Lauren.
And this is Mama C.
And this is our first live. I am trying to figure out how all of the little fancy things work. I think, okay, how do I see comments? It's okay. I've got my phone just in case. Hey, channel surfers. Whoa, what a day. We didn't know. At the end of last night's episode, we were all discussing when is this HOH going to take place. A lot of times it is an endurance competition. I woke up this morning, though, Eastern time, mind you, but I didn't see any updates around 9 o'clock. Around 11 o'clock, Mama C and D and I are all talking. Still no updates. Well, just about an hour ago, not only do we get spoiler updates, but we get them for part 1 and part 2 of the HOH competition. So we know who the final 2 are going to be. I think it would be interesting for us to take a look at these competitions this season, because the first thought in my head is Ashley is smart. She's got memory recall. She's going to use mnemonics. She's going to do well at this final competition. Final competition is a question, basically, who knows this game, this particular season.
But do you want to tell them who the 2 people are who were going to play in that final competition?
Well, we will. Do you think we should go over our jury discussion that we had earlier with Dee and the spreadsheet that I made? Should we do that first? So,
well,
because that happened before we knew about the final 2.
Well, you could, but because right before you called me, just about less than an hour ago, I had just finished rewatching Wednesday and Thursday night's episode. So I might have some new thoughts on some of this.
I don't know. Should we go ahead and spoil it? We'll drop it a few times for anybody that's listening. So I think there's 2 of us and one of them's me. Hey, other channel surfer, we're here with you.
I'm glad you're here.
Might be Dee. Dee said she would try to jump on. Part 1 of the HOH is Morgan. Part 2 of the HOH is Ashley. And apparently, Ashley beat Vince by a long shot. We're not talking little bitty bits of pieces. We're talking like a 20-minute lead that resulted in Vinny. Oh my gosh, it's so Friday. Resulted in Vinny just going crazy. He was depressed, upset, telling Morgan he blew this whole game. There's no way he was going to win, which, to be honest, I don't think he has the votes. I think his jury management was bad. We kind of tried to map things out earlier today, Mama C and D and I. I was surprised. When I really sat down and thought about this jury, I was surprised, but I did not see a path forward for Vinny to win. And we're going to discuss that. We know what the final HOH competition is. It's going to be, who won this week. It's a recall competition. Now, Morgan did awesome in the veto for the recall this week, but that was also a puzzle. This is just mental competition. And we're going to take a look at the competitions this season that the 2, Ashley and Morgan, competed in and see how they did. Maybe try to figure out who is going to have an upper hand in this, who has dominated these kind of mental comps this season.
And I was going to say, the winner of part 1 and then the winner of part 2 will compete together. And the winner of that will decide who's going to be in the final 2 with them.
Right. So whoever wins this 3rd part, Ashley or Morgan, they will decide who they take with them. Oh, we've broken down all options here.
Well, and my thought is both of them would take Vinny. Either one of them would take Vinny.
Maybe. I mean, expect the unexpected.
That's right.
I think this is where it helps for us to go back and look. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to the Big Brother Wiki page. I'll share the screen with the channel servers. We'll take a look at each week who was HOH, who was evicted, who was nominated. It just will give us a whole breakdown of this season. So first, let's get into this jury. Oh my gosh, it is so Friday. I definitely need some caffeine. Management. Thank you. Jury management. Somebody needs to come manage my brain because the ADHD meds are wearing off from earlier today. Anyway, jury management. I started thinking about this. I was thinking last night, there is no way that I am going to be wrong about who wins this season. I picked Morgan at the start. Mama C, you picked Keanu. You know what? I started thinking about the jury, started thinking about the votes. This morning, I grabbed some notes. I made a chart, and Dee and I started writing stuff down. We started going at it. Who do we think has the votes? Called Mama C, got on a 3-way call, and we ended up with a spreadsheet with colors. I have a presentation, guys. Exhibit A. Let's go ahead and share. Let's take a look at this. The Big Brother Channel Surfer jurors. So, let's see what you guys think.
I can't see it. It's kind of little.
Yes, I know. I'm blind too. I've got my glasses on right now.
I'm just old.
Yeah, well, I'm all kinds of blind. All right, here we go. So this is the chart that we came up with. What I've got is the final 3 possibilities. We will either have Morgan and Vince, Ashley and Morgan, or Vince and Ashley. Then we have the jurors. So Rachel, Will, Lauren, Kelly, Keanu, and Ava. And then our final juror, it just depends on who's leaving this house on Sunday night, either Vinny, Morgan, or Ashley. So we have there what we think the vote would be. All right. To be determined Sunday night, let's take a look. Morgan versus Vince. So we pretty much, Mama C, D, and I pretty much agreed across the board on this. There may have been 1 or 2 where we were on the fence, but even with the ones that we weren't sure about, it was the same result. You have to have 4 votes to win this. And Channel Surfers, I would love to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about the votes? How do you think these votes are going to go? All right. So first up, we've got Rachel, Morgan versus Vince. We think it's going to be Morgan. Rachel is very loyal. Now, both of these people were in the judge's alliance with her, but Vinny, he picked Lauren. He picked Lauren to go first in that mastermind competition, and that resulted in Rachel leaving. So I don't think he gets her vote. I think it's Morgan. Any thoughts on Rachel's pick, Mom?
No, I think she would pick Morgan.
All right. Now, Will, do you want to talk about Will's pick between Morgan and Vince? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I really think he probably would pick Morgan as well. I don't know if they really, Morgan's been a beast. She has been a beast, and that's why I've changed some of my votes between Ashley versus Morgan, but Morgan has really been a beast, and I think that Will would recognize that and give his vote to Morgan.
Now, they've both been a beast. Vinny has his 4 HOH competitions, and he's also really manipulated a lot of people.
He's Vinny the Lip.
He pulled the wool over Keanu's eyes.
Everybody's. That was Ava's nickname for him, Vinny the Lip.
Now, with Will, I was on the fence a little bit because he did say in his closing conversation with Mama J that Vince could win this. So I feel like he recognizes Vince's game as a strong game if he's saying that when he's leaving the house.
However, unless he's putting Vince up against somebody else, I don't know, like Ashley or Ava.
I think
even
from
Keanu,
from a competition standpoint, Morgan and Vince, I think, are pretty equal.
Right.
From a social standpoint, I think Morgan has the upper hand because over Vince, because Vince just screwed so many people over. And I think that's where jury management's going to kick him in the butt. Lauren. Now, you'll see across the board here, I think Lauren will pick Vince regardless. I do not think if Vince is an option, she will change her vote. So I put Vince down for Lauren.
Oh, I agree.
Kelly, this one, I was also kind of a toss-up. So right now we've got Will as a toss-up, maybe Kelly as a toss-up. She went home on Morgan's week, but she had a final two with Vince, and he stabbed her in the back and then made final twos with everybody else in the house. But week one, she had a final two with Vince, and she sacrificed herself. She started putting herself on the block to save Vince, and look where she ended up.
And I've said this at the beginning. To be fair, Kelly is the one that said, let's have a final two. I don't think Vince really sealed it with her. I think he was like, Rachel, you know what? If you're going to say you're going to have a final two with me, I'm not going to turn you down.
So do you think that she votes for Vince?
No, because I think when you look at all these people that are in the jury house, they're all going to be talking. And if they hadn't realized it before that Vince was pulling everybody's leg and had a final two with everybody, that they're going to find out in the jury house. And I think that might be
Ava
sour
went
apples.
and told everybody in the house this at the end of last week. So I'm sure she's going to spread the love and let everybody that's been in the jury house know her side, that Vinny was ready to cut Morgan out. All right. So Keanu, I went with Morgan for Keanu because Vinny has screwed him over so many times. I do not see this man handing him $750,000.
I agree. And you know what? Keanu is a fair person. I mean, he played a really good game of integrity in the Big Brother house. I thought he was truthful, and I really liked him a lot. And I think that he's going to give Morgan the vote because of her gameplay.
Well, I think all things being equal, the gameplay is right there. And he already told Vince, if you get rid of me, I'm not voting for you. I think he's sticking to his word on that. Mm-hmm. All right. Ava, again, this one was a tough one. Morgan got Ava out. But when Ava was leaving, she told Vinny, don't call me. Yes, it was a joke, but he was the veto that evicted her. He was the final choice, even though it was Morgan's HOH. I think she votes for Morgan.
Agreed.
Anything to add on the Ava, Morgan versus Vinny vote?
No.
All right. So these are our jurors that we have in right now. So out of the 6, we are possibly swing votes with Will, possible swing vote with Kelly. Although we lean more toward Morgan on how that's going to go down. And then Ashley would be your final vote. I think Ashley chooses Morgan. I don't think Ashley chooses Vince. The girls have been closer, and Vince, I think she's going to see him as being the reason that Rachel left. So in this situation, the way that we think it's going to turn out, Morgan versus Vince, we think this is going to be a 6-1 vote. But with our 2 swing votes, it was maybe Will and maybe Kelly. That still puts us at 4-3 in favor of Morgan. So I don't think that Vince wins against Morgan, especially now. We did this before we knew the final HOH, and I asked Mama C and D both whether or not they thought who wins the HOH and makes that decision would make a difference in if you vote for Morgan, Vince, or Ashley. And after we looked at the results and really thought about the votes, we didn't think it would even matter. It might cement somebody in a firmer position, but we've got Morgan versus Ashley for the final. So I think that also gives Morgan that step up that maybe sways her if Will and Kelly if they are on the fence. All right. So Ashley versus Morgan. Now this is where it started to get interesting for me. And this is really what motivated me to do this. Channel Surfers, you know that my preseason pick was Morgan. Before we even saw the first episode, Mama C and I did a preview where we talked about all of the house guests, and we just read their bios. And just based on that, we picked a winner. I picked Morgan. Mama C picked Keanu. I would love to be right on this. This is the 3rd time I've done it. This would be the 2nd time I picked the winner. The first time it was Xavier. Yeah. So Ashley versus Morgan, I started thinking about this. I love Ashley. I love the game that she played socially. You know, she stuck by her alliances. That is what Rachel was annoyed with the new house guest, is that they didn't stay loyal. This is what Keanu was annoyed with. She stayed loyal, but she hasn't been a comp beast. She has not been a comp beast. So does that make a difference? Looking at the votes, and this is before we even know that Ashley is in the final two with Morgan, Rachel, we all decided that Ashley would be Rachel's vote. Ashley and Rachel, they were connected to each other. She connected herself to a strong player, which is a move. Rachel is loyal. You have heard her say this time and time again in this house. I am loyal. I think she's loyal to the end. This is her alliance. She promised to get her there, and I think she's going to follow through on it.
It's true, but you had even said that Rachel likes loyalty. Well, Ashley was loyal to her, and maybe that's the loyalty that she's looking for. But without a doubt, Morgan has been loyal to Vince. So, I mean, she's played a loyal game too. Not toward Rachel, though maybe she has. I mean, you know, Rachel went out, and that was on her terms. She's the one. She didn't have to play. She didn't have to beg to do that maze, but she did, and that's what got her out. I don't know what would have happened had she not.
But Morgan
played.
Stayed loyal during that and tried to convince Vince to pick Rachel first, and he still picked Lauren first.
Yeah.
But she still stayed loyal to Vince even after he stabbed the judges in the back.
So you know, that's my one thing, that maybe Rachel, I think that's a throw up, you know, up in the air for me. She could very well pick Morgan.
So we're going to put a maybe on Rachel.
Okay.
Will Ashley or Morgan?
Well, and I said Ashley this morning, but then again, I looked at Wednesday and Thursday's episodes again. It's undeniable Morgan is just strong. And she even mentioned that she is a gamer. And now, you know, that cube thing where they had to move the cube around. Mm-hmm. She went into game mode. She says instead of up, over, up, down on the, you know, little controller, she was doing it on the block. So her gaming came in. So I don't know. I think she was in the Judges Alliance. Will could very well vote for her.
Ashley has been such a sweetheart to this jury. She was like Will's daughter. I think, I mean, she tried to protect him, tried to protect Rachel. Not that she was winning competitions to do it. She did use her mind, though. Even Morgan recognized this in the last episode. She makes logical, solid points. And she said when she came to Morgan, when Ashley came to Morgan with maybe you should get rid of Vinny, that was a logical, solid vote. Like that made sense. Why are you going to risk $750,000 and risk getting 75? It was making sense to her.
Well, I was just going to say, the other thing you have to consider is what the jurors are getting or what the evicted house guests are bringing into the jury house. You don't know. They're looking and they're talking about their perspective. And it very well could be that they're disgusted with Morgan and the Vinny thing. And they know like Ashley and Will and Rachel, they all know that Ashley's been very loyal to them.
And this is what this reminds me of. One kind of rule in law, it's not hard and fast, but it's pretty much followed universally. As an attorney, you don't want an attorney on your jury because you don't know what they're going to get into that jury room and argue. They know the game. They know the rules of evidence. They are persuasive. You don't want a third counselor arguing your case in the jury. That's Rachel. Rachel is experienced. She knows this game. We can't overlook the power of Rachel's persuasion. and her knowledge of this game and her trying to convince these house guests. Now, to be fair, she hasn't convinced Keanu of anything. He didn't even listen to her when she said, hey, the final 5, the 5th HOH is more important because, the 4th one, it's the veto that matters. You don't need to win the 4th HOH. Did he listen? No, he saved it for the 4th HOH. So, maybe she's not going to persuade Keanu anyway. But, all right, so you're on the wall with Rachel and Will. Lauren, I said Ashley. I do not see Lauren voting for Morgan. I think according to Lauren, Morgan stole her final 2 and took them with her until discard them right before the end. If it's Ashley and Morgan, and Morgan's the pick on that, but I don't think it matters. Kelly, I picked Ashley again. Kelly went home on Morgan's HOH. If she's equally close with the 2 girls, Ashley's been super kind to her. I mean, if you listen to those speeches that they were giving at the end that Julie was showing the house guest, Ashley was just so kind to everybody.
Well, and you said something about Ava went out of the house talking about the alliance, but that was Kelly. Kelly is the one who went out of the house telling everybody she had a final 2, and she had a final with Vince, and then she had a final 3 with so-and-so and Vince, and then a final 4 with Adrian and
Kelly.
That was Kelly.
But Ava told them before the veto competition, Julie showed us where she sat down and said, Vince came to me and told me that he is not taking you to the final 2, Morgan. So don't choose a man who won't choose you. Morgan still chose Vince. She still did not use that veto. All right. So I said Ashley. Keanu, I said Morgan. I think he is going to recognize her game. Mm-hmm. He's a gamer as well. And he didn't have an alliance with Morgan and Ashley. He didn't have loyalty to either of them. Whereas Rachel and Will, they were both in an alliance with Morgan and Ashley and Vinny. But Ashley had been loyal to them from the start, which is where I think she also gets that leg up. But it could go either way, but I think Keanu would choose Morgan.
Yeah, I agree. And with Ava, I think Lauren were close. I think that they'll talk about it, and I think she'll choose Ashley.
Well, and Ava was close with Will too, and Ava was close with Ashley. So I think Ashley. All right. So right now, our up in the airs are Rachel and Will on this. Vince, I think Morgan. I don't think Vince votes for Ashley, even if Morgan evicts him. I think that will be his one time that he's loyal, but maybe that's just Vince pulling one over on me.
No, because he is upset that he didn't win the second competition for this new HOH. He's kind of losing it, and I think he does not want to push Morgan away. I think he'll vote for Morgan, and I think if he wins, no, he's not going to win because he's not in the final HOH, is he?
I think we need our weenie whistle. He has been losing it this entire season, Mama C. Vince has been crying. This is his game. This crying and manipulation. This is Vinny's game.
Look, I've told you earlier that people are saying, okay, you can win this game by being strategic. You can win this game by having a social game, but Vinny is trying to win it using emotions. I don't think it's going to work.
Well, I can tell you Keanu doesn't like that game. He told Vinny to his face he didn't like that game. All right. So Rachel and Will, I think those are swing votes. And in this case, I've got Ashley 5-2. Rachel and Will, if they both flip, though, they basically give it to Morgan.
It's all up in the air. I would almost think that Rachel and Keanu would vote the same way. I think Keanu might listen to Rachel since he didn't listen to her all season, but now he has nothing to lose. He can't win the game. So.
Well, also, if people are saying that Vinny played Morgan's game, does everybody then blame Morgan for the betrayal? True. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. All
Does
right.
Our channel
so Vince,
surfer. Does our channel surfer have any
what do you think, Channel
opinions?
Surfer? You're probably not here live, but then let us know in the comments. All right. So Vince and Ashley, we got down to Vince and Ashley. What did we say? All right. So Rachel, Ashley over Vince.
Ashley,
Will,
yes.
Ashley over Vince.
Absolutely.
Lauren, maybe Vince. Maybe Vince, because he said Vince could win this, but Vince, though, he's not going to that final part of the HOH competition. Maybe that pushes me more in Ashley's favor. Lauren, she's staying with Vince, I think, the whole time. Kelly, Ashley, Keanu, Ashley, Ava, Ashley. I think Vince's jury management's going to bite him in the butt. And for the cherry on top, I don't think that Morgan would vote for Vinny. And this was before we knew that Morgan and Ashley were the final two for the final HOH. Final two going to that final episode on Sunday night. So maybe this changes my mind, because really I was thinking in this situation, if Vince won and chose Ashley over Morgan, then I thought that Morgan would definitely vote for Ashley, because she would sit there and think, well, I sat there and sacrificed my game like every other person in this house did. I gave up even $75,000 because you promised me a final two and you didn't take me, just like you didn't take Lauren, just like you didn't take Keanu, just like you didn't take Kelly, just like you put Lauren in front of Rachel, who was in your alliance, if Vince was the one that did that. Now, if Ashley, now we know that Vince doesn't even get a shot at choosing who goes with him to the final two. If he goes, Ashley picks him, she might vote for Vince. So this may be a 5-2 vote instead of a 6-1 vote. But I don't think any of these other people, except for Lauren, are voting for Vince, because he had bad jury management.
Yeah.
And I mean, I respect a lying game. I love a lying game. We have seen so many people play lying games. The thing I didn't like about Vinny's game was the victimization, the self-victimization, the crying, the manipulation. He put himself in these situations and then acted like he couldn't help it without any logical reason why he couldn't help it, except people just felt bad that he was crying.
You know, I find it funny, maybe ironic, that at the beginning of his game, when we had the weenie whistle and, you know, we said he was playing a weenie game, he was trying not to put blood on his hands. I mean, he chose Kelly.
He tried this whole game not to put blood on his hands.
Right. But, you know, and then when it looks like he has blood on his hands, he cries. Well, what am I supposed to do? Well, Keanu got on to him about that, you know, in last night's episode.
Well, this is where alliances can come in handy, because the alliance member can get rid of your competition. If you have somebody that's loyal to you, they can take out the threats and leave you squeaky clean. Vinny didn't trust his alliance members. He won 4 HOHs because he's not trustworthy. Why would he trust them? He's cheating on them. He's probably assuming that they would do the same thing. He had to win those competitions because I think internally he didn't trust his alliance members, because they definitely should not have trusted him. So right. That's where he messed up. That's why the social game is important. Ashley, we talk about shields. She used shields. She let the other players do the work, and she went and got in their ear and gave them those logical, rational arguments as to why it would make sense for their game to do really what was best for Ashley's game.
And think about it. She's come a long way from almost going home that first eviction because she took a 2-hour shower.
During Vinny HOH, she went up there, and that's the most time anybody but Morgan spent in that HOH room, was the 2 hours that Ashley allegedly spent there. But yeah, huge target on her back. And I thought her and Vinny were getting along good, but kind of started throwing her under the bus too. He wasn't standing up for her or anything. I think Julie came and told us that she was only taking a 30-minute shower. The rest of the time she was just talking game with Vinny. Vinny didn't try to dispel that in the house, that's for sure. Yeah, she has been target since week 1, and she's here. She's here in the final 3 with a lot of friends in the jury. All right, so that is the jury management. Channel surfers, what do you think about this jury? All right, let's move on to the second part. Do we want to look at some of the live feed stuff, like some of the clips on TikTok? There's one where Ashley is excited and dancing around because she won part 2. Or should we go ahead and look at the competitions?
I don't even know what to look at the competitions. This is your ball game.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come over here then. All right. Big Brother Wiki. No, not Bulgaria. Hold on just a minute. Big Brother 27 Wiki. Here we go. What's up? What's up, Mom C?
No, I thought I was
Nothing?
like,
You still there?
like Morty. Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Oh, well, you said,
hear
am I
you.
there?
All right.
Okay.
Well, you're good. All right. So Big Brother 27, let's go to where's this graph? Here it is. All right. And I probably need to make this bigger. I'm going to share this screen in just a minute, guys. Let's make sure it's something we can read. All right. Get rid of that. All right. So this is Big Brother Wiki. Okay. All right. So let me get this overlay. And sorry, this is the first time we are using the live feature. This is our first time. Hey, first time. All right. So I'm going to, right now, if you're either watching this later on YouTube or you're watching it live now, you see an overlay. I am just going to get rid of that somehow.
Well, while you're getting rid of it, I just want to say, I'm glad they have some new competitions, but that little teeny tiny house with the building the puzzle with the tweezers, I'm getting kind of tired of that one.
Okay. Well, how do I get rid of my overlay? All right. I don't know.
Did you go to background
I did
or something?
Well, now I'm clicking on things and it's not. Oh, you know what? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's been up there this whole time.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Mom, can you talk about something? Because I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm clicking and it's not doing anything. So if you could just tell us about what you watch. You say you just rewatch some things and you might have some different opinions.
Well, yeah, I've already told you those, that I think Morgan could very easily win against either Vince or Ashley because she is a comp beast. I mean, she's won countless vetoes, like 5 or 6 in a row, and HOH, and you know, she's pulling out her gamer game, which we knew that she had, though I still don't know if the house guests know. I don't even know if Vinny knows she's a gamer.
But she could tell them in the closing arguments.
She very well could.
Just like Ashley could tell them that she's an attorney. Right.
And that she studied Elle, whatever her name is, from Legally Blonde.
Elle Woods from Legally Blonde.
Yes, Elle Woods.
All right. So here we are. All right. Week 1. Week 1, the HOH was... Wait a minute. This is not the same chart that I had looked at earlier. But that's voting history. Okay, hold on. Let me find it, guys. This is Big Brother Wiki, and they had some awesome things. Actually, here's just all the competitions, so we could look at that. All right, so let's see. Competitions that are final 2-1. Ashley won Campsite Caper. Okay, Campsite Caper. This is the power of veto, where they had to smell the different evidence jars and figure out what it was. There were like 3 different tents. Do you remember?
Yep, I do.
So
that was
an Ashley win.
So Vince won the first HOH, and then Ashley won the first POV.
Well, okay. Yeah. Vince won the first HOH. I don't think it matters what Vince won at this point because I think his jury management sucked. If you disagree with me, I'm happy to look at Vince's wins. But what I'm wondering is who's going to win this final HOH? What strategies have they excelled in? Vince, we know he's got 4 HOHs. I just think his jury management sucks. I think that he and Morgan are pretty equal when it comes to competitions. Morgan might even have the upper hand when it comes to the vetoes, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it matters?
Okay, well, maybe I can see what you're getting at. Whereas with Ashley, she won that POV trying to look at detail and remember.
Right. Now,
and I think she even said that she was an attorney. She even said she was an attorney and that she would do well at that competition, from what I remember.
I remember saying that. I was like, "Ooh, evidence." I don't know that this one. That's a good point. She had to remember something, but that's like a very short term memory. I don't know how much that one goes to what we know the final competition is, which is like remembering events in the house. But you're right, it does have something to do with memory.
Or I want to say, and I told you earlier, but it seems to me in the back of my mind, when they introduced the house and showed it, they're like, and they need to remember some things, or are they going to be observant? And remember one day I said, you know what, we need to remember the time on the clock. I think it was like 1:17. Maybe that's going to be in a competition. So, the final competition could even be something about remembering things in the house, seeing how detailed you were. So I don't know.
But usually it's about the house guests. Usually they show a little video about the house guest and you have to answer a question about the house guest, usually about their competition. And maybe Ashley does have an advantage. I don't think it's all the house guests. I think it's the jurors. Who's closer with the jurors? Maybe that does give her the advantage. Unless it's just a completely different competition than what we usually see. All right, let's look at these other competitions. So Morgan won the Charcuterie Protection Agency veto. So this was the one with Angela from BB27.
Who, by the way, was on The Amazing Race last night with her daughter.
Oh, okay. That's right. You watched the Big Brother Amazing Race.
Yes.
So this one was more of a puzzle from what I remember. And Morgan is good at puzzles.
Yes.
I don't remember this being like a memory one more than it was a puzzle.
No, this was definitely a puzzle. They had lots of different like charcuterie cutouts, and they had to put them and tried to put, like, I don't know if there were 26 of them, and they had to put them up. But in the meantime, this thing was turning around and would knock them down after like 5 minutes. And so then I think they started at 2 minutes, and then Angela gave them more time. And so Morgan won that one.
All right. And then Morgan won the BB Comics, which again, this is like, I would say this is similar to the one that Ashley won. It's short-term memory, but it also involves that physical element besides just having memory, which is very similar to the veto she won last week. It wasn't just remembering the events in the order they happened, but it was that physical element of being able to maneuver the pieces, which I think gives her an extra leg up there.
Right.
But this is a short-term memory thing, whereas the one last week was a long-term memory. All right. So BBCSI. They
talked about that in last night's episode. She talked about it, but I can't remember what it was. BBCSI.
I don't either. Let's see if we can click on it and find out. Channel surfers. Oh, man. I remember so many of these, but this one is not ringing a bell. Seesaw. Oh, okay. It was the one where they were walking across. It wasn't the shovels, but okay. So another physical. That one's more physical.
Yeah.
All right. And then what do we have here? So that was 68. All right. This is, go away. All right. BBCSI for Morgan. And then Morgan won the HOH with Wretched Reactor. Do you remember that one? These are the most recent ones too. Okay, our short-term memory sucks, so we would not be doing well in these short-term competitions.
Me to the final two. You beat me.
I wouldn't even make it to the final two. I'd be out week 1. All right, let's see. It's not because I'm showering. All right, so player. Okay, rolling the ball. This is the one where I think they had to get it closest to the
Gotcha.
edge.
I wonder why it's called Wretched Reactor. Okay.
Who knows? All right. So, and then masterpieces. So this was the power of veto that, this was, so it was 2 vetoes this week. This was the first one, which again, this was a puzzle.
Yeah. Wasn't that the one with the teeny tiny in the,
yes, the tweezers,
the tweezers,
the tweezers. Yeah. Organized crime. Now, I think so far out of the competitions we've seen, this one is most like the final one because you were putting competitions in order. It did have that physical element though, but Morgan kicked butt in this. I mean, she
also had puzzle. I think it was more puzzle than strength. I mean, you still need a little endurance for that, but it's the puzzle.
But puzzle and endurance aren't the factors that matter. It was also memory of when each event occurred, which is what's similar to that final HOH.
Oh, right.
Because you're remembering the long-term game and the order of events, the chronological order. Maybe not chronological, but chronological order doesn't hurt if you're trying to recall how many HOHs or vetoes somebody has. So yeah, Morgan has won a ton of vetoes. She has won 2 HOHs. If she could win the third one. The only real competition here that the one I think relates most to the final is probably Morgan's organized crime. But as well as she does on these puzzles and in these physical competitions, I wonder how much of her physical ability helped her in getting such a lead on people. I don't know.
Do you remember what the second? Usually, part 1 is an endurance for the final 3 part of the 3-part competition. Usually, part 1 is a endurance. What's part 2? Like a puzzle?
Usually a puzzle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. So earlier today, we like Morty's TV for spoilers. I mean, this is like old school blogging website. But it is awesome. People live blog the feeds. Service is still unavailable. Okay. So it was unavailable earlier. I think it's probably just crashing out. Let's roll over to TikTok real quick and see. Let's see if we can find any updates. So we know that Morgan won part 1. We know that Ashley won part 2. We know that Ashley was doing a little dance and really excited. And she said, what if my first HOH is the last HOH? That would be cool. I would love to see it. I mean, honestly, I would love for Morgan to win and for me to be right on this.
Yeah.
But just like Morgan, I like Morgan and Ashley. I'm basically team anyone but Vinny.
And I don't necessarily don't like or hate Vinny. It's just that I just haven't understood his game, and I really didn't care for his game. I think Morgan and Ashley have done a better job, but whatever.
All right. So let me go ahead over here. Let's share this screen. All right. So here is a little clip off TikTok I found earlier. This is Ashley celebrating after winning part 2 of the HOH. Let's see. Can we hear this? I cannot hear a thing she is saying, but I think it's something along the lines of Team Ashley. First one is she looks like an airline stewardess.
No, she looks like Kamala Harris. I'm sorry. She does. But she's so pretty.
She's gorgeous.
She is
But
gorgeous.
her outfit looked like an airline stewardess.
Well, and maybe that was part of the competition.
Wondering.
Maybe they had to build an airplane.
That is what I'm wondering. All right. So let's see. Final HOH. Can we get some clips? So I went to the live feeds earlier and nothing was happening either. All right. I guess that was really the only thing that I'd seen earlier was Ashley dancing, and that made me pretty happy. But all right. So we went over our thoughts about jury. We went over the competitions. Final thoughts. Mama C. We are going into Sunday. We have Morgan versus Ashley. We have competition where they're going to have to know their jury.
Yeah, and I am going to be a tired mama on Monday morning because it's a 2-hour episode that begins at 8:30. However, I'm really looking forward to tonight's episode because they're going to have the jury house and they're going to show the people who were evicted come in. So I'm kind of excited about that. Very excited.
Now, are you planning on all your plans being canceled on Monday?
I think that hurricane that's supposed to be coming towards us may cancel all my plans.
It looks like he's coming straight toward me. If we love Mike's weather page for hurricane news and his spaghetti models, and we're still more than 5 days. We're more than 3 days out of the cone, so it could be nothing. Right now, it is just Invest 94. It's going to be Umberto or Umberta if it turns into a storm, which they're expecting.
Is it? I thought that was Invest 95. And it's supposed to be a major hurricane.
94. Invest 94 is coming toward us. Anyway, it was starting to spin a few hours ago. All right, so it looks like it's coming toward me, but I don't. Unless we're 3 days out, I don't care. Right now, it just looks like tropical storm stuff. Unless it's a Cat 2, I'm hanging out here. And as long as we have power, I'm podcasting.
Umberto is Invest 95. That has turned into a hurricane before Invest 94, which is the future Imelda.
Imelda, that's it. Invest 95, though, we're 3 days out and it's not coming to the coast. The winds aren't even arriving on us. I looked at the wind arrival times on NHC.
Yeah, that one I think is going west of Bermuda. And it's going to be a major hurricane.
The one. So, and these storms, they look like boobs. I looked at the radar. I'll have to send it to you, Mama C.
No, I've seen them before. It's not the first time.
Okay. Tits coming this way. It's Invest 95. That's headed over here. So as long as we have power, we're going. I mean, D, it could hit her. She's a little bit north of me, but D and I are both on the coast. You're inland a little bit in Colombia. Usually if we evacuate, we go to Mama C's house.
Well, that's when you lived in North Charleston. You're further inland now.
A little bit. Yeah, but there's flooding here.
Well, you know what? There was flooding in Colombia during the 700-year flood or whatever it was. I think that was in 2015.
I'm not worried about it. I'm just worried about whether or not we have power. And as long as I have power, we're podcasting Big Brother. We are podcasting Sister Wives, the first episode. Dee and I are podcasting 90 Day the other way. Dee and I, we almost made it through hurricane season. We were just saying earlier, we were like, we were right at the end of it and we almost got through. So maybe we still get through with nothing this season.
Well, I don't know. This is when it starts up in October.
Anyway, what thoughts on Big Brother? Thoughts on Big Brother now that we know that Ashley and Morgan are our final two.
Well, not
what this competition is. You got to know your jury.
Yes.
Well, they're the final two in the HOH competition.
Right.
For anybody who's never watched Big Brother, there's two parts of the HOH competition leading into finale night. Part 1, part 2. The winners of both go against each other finale night with questions about their jurors. I think after looking, and I'll take us back to the spreadsheet, after looking at our spreadsheet earlier, I think Ashley is much closer and has probably had much more in-depth conversations with her jury. But Morgan was so fast on that last HOH. It's hard to say if that was her physical endurance that got her there, because that resolving puzzles, that was definitely part of it. And she was just so far ahead, or if it was if it was her knowledge of the game. I mean, that it took both. So here we are. Who do you think? Who do you think? You know what? We picked people at the beginning before we even watched them. We know a lot more now. What do you think? Who's winning this final HOH and who are they taking?
You talking to me or asking them?
Yeah, Channel Surfers, you can comment below. But Mama C?
Oh, well, we already went through this. Morgan wins against Vince. She might even win against Ashley,
Mom,
but okay.
It's Ashley and Morgan in the final HOH.
Oh, in the final
Which
HOH.
one of those two win the HOH, and who does the winner take?
Ashley, and she takes Vince.
I was going to say that, but since I picked Morgan as my preseason pick, and since you're going to go ahead and pick that, it will be more fun if we have different ones. So I'm going to say Morgan, and I'm going to say she picks Ashley. I don't know. Does that give her a boost if she finally gets rid of Vinny? Is that something that helps her?
It doesn't matter.
No.
I think Morgan wins against, who did I say? I don't know. Whatever.
Who are the votes? Morgan wins against Ashley. Who are Morgan's votes?
We've already gone through that. Let's just wait and see on
Rachel,
Sunday.
Will, Keanu, and Vince. Rachel and Will, they're going to pick her over Ashley and give it to Morgan.
Don't know.
That jury has me thinking. All right, Channel Surfers. This was like a last minute live. Nobody was prepared for this. We kind of just jumped on here. As soon as I saw it, I was really excited. I was texting Mama C and D, and I was like, well, maybe some Channel Surfers would like to come on and talk about Big Brother. But I will go ahead and post this. I'll probably make this into a podcast, and I'll also post it up on our channel as a video so people can watch later and comment. I'm checking the comments. We're getting a lot with this chart from earlier, so I've been responding to everybody. I'm so interested to hear everybody's take on this. Like, this jury thing is blowing my mind. Why? Is Ashley's jury management what wins this game? Very possibly. And now that she's final two for that final HOH, maybe it's Ashley. Maybe this is Ashley. Hope it's Morgan. I want to be right. I want to pick that winner from the beginning, from the preseason. But all right, Channel Surfers, so thank you for listening. You guys have a wonderful Friday afternoon and great Saturday. If you are on the East Coast, about to get hit with Invest, hang tight with us. If I've got power and we're doing a podcast, we'll probably bring you some weather updates too if it's headed toward Charleston or a little bit north of here. All right. Have a good night. Let's ride.